Don't you just love it when you who like to worship God go to a church or in your private time, you have just the most marvelous experience? You know, in the many years that I was working with a lot of different churches for the Northwest Baptist Convention, I would go all these different churches, and the pastors especially would say to me, we just want our people to come in and get excited and to feel good and have this encounter with God. Well, you know, that's great. However, there's a problem. What's the problem? If you're just going to church and say, oh, I'm having great worship times, it just all feels so good and joyful and rejoicing. I want to tell you something. If that's all that's happening, well, you're not having an encounter with God. Now, why would I say that? Well, you know, I think most of us would agree, to worship God means to have an encounter with God and to love Him and to praise Him, to adore Him, to have this interaction with God. That's worship to most of us. You know, if you worship Him from afar, well, He's not having any impact on you, and maybe you can just love Him and rejoice, but He doesn't get very close. So what happens if we really have an encounter with God? If He gets close to us and we really worship, well, there's a good example of that in Isaiah 6. And there's really several things that take place, and I'm only going to mention one of them at this time. If you go to read Isaiah 6, chapter 6 and verse 1, well, let me just read a little bit of it. In the year that King Uzziah died, Isaiah, he says, I saw the Lord seated on a high and lofty throne, and the hem of his robe filled the temple. Seraphim were standing above him. They each had 6 wings. With 2 they covered their faces, and with 2 they covered their feet, and with 2 they flew. And one called to another, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of armies. His glory fills the whole earth. The foundation of the doorway shook at the sound of their voices, and the temple was filled with smoke. Wow, that's what Isaiah saw. He saw the Lord high and lifted up, and these angels and seraphim and these heavenly creatures are surrounding him, and they're rejoicing, and they're just saying, holy, 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 holy. Well, how did Isaiah react? What was the first thing that happened when Isaiah saw this? Did he say, oh boy, am I happy? I saw the Lord. No, that's not what happens when we really see God and when we really encounter Him. Isaiah's the proof. What does Isaiah say? Then I said, woe is me, for I'm ruined, because I'm a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips. Because my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of armies. When Isaiah saw the Lord, his first reaction was, boy, this feels good. No, his reaction is, oh, woe is me. Oh, God. Here I am. You're so holy. And I am so undone. Unworthy. I'm undone. I live among people that are undone. Okay, undone. Okay, I'm full of faults. I'm full of failure. I live in a world full of people full of faults and full of failure. Oh, God, you're holy. Oh, what a mess I am. Now, that does not feel good. So if your worship is only filled with feeling good, you are not encountering God. You know, we can really think we're doing well. We can be reading our Bible every day. We can be going to the church. We can be surrounding ourselves with good friends. and just think everything is so good, even though I haven't really had a close encounter with God in a long time. But man, I'm doing really good. Well, not when he shows up, then we see ourselves. It's kind of like me in the mornings when I go to the drawer where I have my socks. Yes, the light's not the best where my socks are stored, but I get them out in blue and black. Oh, they're really hard sometimes. Blue and black are hard. I've got these blue socks. I have these black socks. Okay, are these the same? Oh, yeah. These are blue socks. These are blue socks. Okay, got my blue socks. Okay, and I get out through the day, and the sun comes out, and I'll look down, and uh-oh, one of those socks was not blue. It was black. And the other one's blue. I'm mismatched. I'm undone. I got a fault. Well, that's what happens when God shows up and encounters our life. We really begin to see ourselves. I thought I was doing so good, and Lord, look at this. Look at this. Forgive me, Father. Well, we'll talk more about another sign. But the first thing that's going to happen when you really encounter God for worship is, woe is me. God, I've got needs today. So wherever you are, if you're in Spokane, Washington, near me, or if you're on the other side of the world, my friends, when God shows up in your life, look, examine yourself. He's holy. And say to him, oh God, I've got a need. I'm undone. That's the beginning of a great worship encounter. God bless you. Seek after him. Don't hide from him. Don't look for feel-good experiences. Look for a God experience. That's what we need to change our lives.